wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Hey, Boater.
so you came over to my place this past weekend and watched Dune with me, as I recommended you do.
Yes.
And we watched it with subtitles on, which Steph and I normally don't do, but it was still good to see that. But I was at the point where I noticed that the subtitles were wrong.
Oh.
I'm about to spoil the movie and also the 50-year-old book it's based on. Oscar Isaac is lying here naked as Duke Atreides, and Stellan Skarsgård is kind of leaning over him as the Baron. And just before Oscar Isaac whispers his own name, he says, Atreides. And the Baron doesn't hear him, and he leads in and said, "What did you say?" Atreides nuts! And then... Sorry, that pun's been bouncing around in my head for literally weeks, so...
Boom.
When you have a D's nuts joke, you take it by... Anyway, hey everyone, welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Butter.
I'm Dave, man.
Who is currently taking a drink of water. I'm... Boo. It's... Oh, boy. Yeah, welcome everybody to Nerd Glasses. We've got...
So many awesome
really
stories coming out of this week, and
Yeah.
such good news. Well, excuse me. As an inverse to the usual news we get from Activision Blizzard, we had such positive things happen.
I saved one.
But in the usual fashion, it comes with a big old if clause and then and
Yeah.
perhaps.
We've got really big Activision Blizzard news to share later in the program. For now, normally this is where I would do a Twitch ban. I will be honest, work was absolutely crazy for me today, and I was unable to steal 5 minutes to even look up a Twitch ban. But there is a follow-up to last week. Last week we talked about a couple of people that were banned for the TV meta, for watching
Yes.
for watching TV. And Disguised Toast was banned. It was suspected at the time for up to a month for streaming, I believe, Death Note.
Okay.
That ban, so I'm going to follow up on that. That ban ended up just being 2 days. And he ended up kind of spilling the beans shortly afterward, saying, yeah, so I messaged Lily Pichu, who is another streamer that I believe that he lives in the same like streamer household with, like
Yeah.
roommates kind of thing. And he was like, he said, I'm going to need you to file a DMCA takedown for me. Why? To scare people from streaming anime.
Huh.
And so he ended up playing something that she had and copyrighted whatever so that it wouldn't be a fraudulent takedown. So like he could be taken down for that, but like it happened to be right as other stuff was happening and adding to making it a big deal with other with this going on otherwise, and basically making it a big enough problem that you can't just ignore it. Now, turns out his DMCA takedown wasn't for watching hours of Death Note without saying anything, but it's enough that people are like, ooh, maybe this isn't such a good idea.
That's very good. Big Ticket in chat. Inaccuracies in your report on the Lego crime scene. We will get to. Should we just jump to the Danbury updates?
Yeah. So I think well, first off, did you have anything more to say on Disguised Toast and on the Twitch? Because it turns out it was intentional, but it wasn't for purposes of like taking a vacation, like we kind of joked.
It's interesting that people would do that, but also in the same kind of way, like if people are going to get punished for a new meta, and they're kind of curbing a meta before it becomes too big of a thing. So It's good in a way,
Mm-hmm.
especially for people that, it's right after the holiday season. So a bunch of people just got a new PC, a camera, a new game system, and they're going to start trying to stream things.
Yeah.
And so people are going to look at what are the metas, what's everyone doing, what's getting views,
Yeah.
what's getting clicks.
What's getting attention?
It's hot tubs, by the way. Buy hot tubs. Insane Games will have a hot tub sooner rather than later.
Dave, flip your calendar. It's 2022.
We're gonna have a whole Ash hot tub stream where we just let him run around back here and have the hot tub set up.
Um, yeah. For some reason, my chat is like behind and late and weird and stuff. Oh, I know why. Because I'm not on the Wi-Fi. Yeah. It's my thoughts are on it are like I kind of like that. With like the streamers kind of policing what they feel like, and
Yeah.
ultimately they can do that as much as they wish. It's odd to me potentially like getting a ban which reflects on your account
Yeah.
to do so, which I said a little bit before, but it's interesting, and I kind of want I hope that the TV meta disappears really before it takes off harder.
Big Ticket asking if there are any repercussions to the guilty of violating these things.
It ended up being a 2-day ban. In this particular case, I think it was Pokimane that was watching Avatar: Last
Yes.
Airbender.
Yes.
She got a 2-day ban as well. And because they were like first infractions kind of thing. But I think that it could have the potential to do more once right holders who have the TV shows like really get involved.
Yeah. So in essence, if you stream something you're not supposed to stream, your channel gets taken down and becomes unavailable. You're unable to gather revenue.
Mhm.
And that includes, by the way, when you are banned, people watching previous streams of yours and you collecting revenue during that duration.
Yeah, because like your channel is down, your previous uploads aren't accessible at that moment.
Yeah.
You can't appear on other people's streams.
If you do, they'll also get banned.
Yep. So
sometimes they'll even serve longer sentences than other people. And by the way, Studicarus saying a streamer got banned for a hate raid on Pokimane.
yeah.
And then anytime you need a ban, just remember, Dr. Disrespect, permabanned from Twitch any week. We just be like, by the way, we're recapping. Still no Dr. Disrespect.
Nope, still gone. Still gone. Still mysteriously absent.
So
all right, let's bring this to Danbury. Let's go to the report.
We'll go really quick, and then we'll switch back to our previous programming. But we do not want to leave Big Ticket hanging.
I know Dr. Disrespect has a book. I'm surprised he could read a book.
You didn't see in Discord? I showed a video of the books in humor. By the way, it's in the same section as sports, and like it's so close, but it's in humor.
Okay.
And it's so close to like it's his face, and then I pan up to show the big humor. Like
fantastic. Okay, Danbury.
So-
Sorry, we keep distracting. This is what people want.
some updates on Danbury. We've had recent developments, recent additions, but Boater, steel yourself because there's been a recent addition of a criminal element. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure in your Lego homes, your Lego doors, and your are locked, and your Lego wallets are put away, because some of the biggest villains in DC Comics lore and movies have been coming into Danbury. There's been sightings of the Riddler and the Joker. No yet sightings on Batman. Yet we are hoping that the Danbury police are going to be able to handle these situations as they arise and things of that nature. But there was a recent development, some seismic activity. Demon Dragon, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your bricks.
In addition to all the nefarious villains around there, it turns out that Danbury lies on a bit of a fault line. The footage you're about to see may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. I think it's in trailer 1. I don't know what number 6 is Yeah,
Oh.
that is from last week.
I was going to say, so this being a fervent reminder to the emergency service workers
Yeah,
in
we
Danbury.
talked last week about how good the
that-
emergency service workers are when there was the helicopter crash.
The second helicopter crash.
Yeah.
Seismic activity ripped through Danbury this past
Consider
week.
that the emergency response tested there and really put to work here after this terrible, terrible occurrence. It's
Seismic activity rocked Danbury as a quarry of unused materials was dumped into the abyss. Thankfully, no one was hurt. And
Yeah, I don't think anybody was working in the quarry at the time, and most of the materials have been recovered.
Also, good news, no good boys were injured in the occurrence of this. But can we just, first of all, appreciate that we're switching over to Nerd Vision? And then secondly, just look at Dan.
I didn't realize Dan was in that shot. He just kind of looks. There's just...
He's building. Ash hits the table. The hands just lower to the lap, and Dan begins to look over at Nico,
who sheepishly walks in from edge of frame.
So, seismic activity rocking Danbury, a second week, a second event, and we are sincerely hoping that all of the citizenry of Danbury are coming through. This time next week, Boater, by the way, I'm going to give a little bit of a tip. A particular educational element will be added to Danbury, and hopefully more news on the criminal element and the fighting therein.
Geologists are currently doing a full survey of the ground that Danbury lies on, checking to see if there's any other faults that are ready to slip or if a volcano may mysteriously show up. Going by rules of city skylines, anything could happen, but they want to be prepared.
I have it on good authority that the current leadership of Danbury is reaching out to Koski Enterprises to create a firmer base for the town to be built on, and we are looking greatly forward to hearing about this contract with Koski Enterprises. So that's our update on Danbury. We're looking forward to doing more every week. If you like the reports of things like that, please let us know. In the Discord down below, by the way, some folks this week really helped us get a handle on the news with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, which we will talk about later in the program. But thank you so much to Sustaina, CJ Playmaker, Rafe Wolf for your guys' contribution and the research you guys do in giving us links and things like that. And we would love to talk about more of the things you guys want to hear about. Just make it heard down in the Discord down below if we're not on air. And if we're live on air, chat with us. We love to talk to people. We love to hear your guys' input on the stories that we're currently breaking. That being said, Boater, there's 2 games coming out in a couple days, and I am jazzed as hell. Partially because I won't be affording either of them, but partially because they're 2 games that are definitely on my short list of absolutely going to play and have soon. The first one is a sequel. A sequel to a 1994 Neo Geo game called Windjammers.
Okay.
Do you like Frisbee, Boater? Of course you do. You love Frisbee.
Love it.
Do you love fighting games?
Sure.
Of course you do. Well, what if I told you that Windjammers is a game that combines both of those elements? It's an arcade fighter with Frisbee battle elements put into it.
So like actually ultimate Frisbee and not just football with the disc.
Nope. Ultimate Frisbee. This is a game that I played in my local arcade, the Neo Geo version, for hours. I loved Windjammers. It was so much fun. The owner of the local pizzeria would then try to challenge me because I was better than him at it, and because he didn't like when people are better than his games. So this is really exciting. It's a sequel, again, as I said, to the 1994 Windjammers. It's being developed by a company that's handled a lot of let's just say, non-traditional games of this nature. I will say, as somebody that has played this game a lot and owns the original on my PlayStation, this is an honest look, some update on the graphics. The characters are much less pixelated. I'm a little bit sad about it, but at the same point, it's putting a new coat of paint on a game. There is...
I mean, it's still definitely keeping its aesthetics back there. It's up to a modern standard, but it is still the 90s kind of pixel arcade
Oh, yes.
aesthetic, yeah.
It is coming out for the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, Windows, and it's time for that segment. Check your pulse, because that's right, Stadia is still alive.
Hey!
I am super jazzed about this one. It's a great time. It's not a game. It's like any other fighting game. It'll keep you tided over if that's what you're into, but don't expect to get this really long, convoluted, and big storyline behind it.
Yeah.
It's some bros playing Frisbee.
Very cool. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'll have to get creamed by you in that.
It's... You know what? In the future, let's play it here on Nerd Glasses,
It's been a while since we've done a game on Nerd Glasses. Last one we did, we were still in the old stomping grounds, and I think we played some Mario Baseball.
I mean, since we can't play pickleball, why not Ultimate Frisbee?
True. That's true. As soon as the pickleball court opens, actually, we'll have to play that once on the pickleball court. Just wigging discs at each other.
Yes, I'm in. Absolutely. You contact your local Dan and you tell them that you want to watch Boater and Dave whip regulation Frisbee discs, not Frisbee golf discs, okay? I've been hit in the face with Frisbee golf discs, and that's why I'm as unique a person as I am.
It's true. It's tell them to get that streaming setup up in the pickleball court. We want it to happen. I'll get the wall.
We will absolutely whip regulation Frisbee discs back and forth at each other and try to score points. Best, yes, absolutely. I'll get the wall blankets as our producer.
What else? What else coming out the next? You said you had 2 games coming out in the next 7 days.
So that one, a bite of nostalgia and yet a fresh paint of coat. But this one, a take on a game mode originally introduced inside of Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay.
But then they took it and they combined previous iterations and ideas, and now on the 20th, this is a game I was super excited for, and I'm a little hurt that where I am financially to be able to do this. But Rainbow Six Extraction. This is coming out on the 20th. It's coming out on the... I'm going to give the trailer a little time to play, so I'm going to talk about over it. But it's coming out on all of the Xbox consoles, Series S, X, and 1.
Yep.
The 4, the 5. The Amazon Luna, don't know what that is.
Okay.
It's the first time I've heard of it. And then, of course, the Stadia. And I couldn't believe it. And also for Windows. But it's a 3-player.
Huh.
You are a rescue team slotted to save a member of this particular team. I won't get into the jargon and terminology,
okay,
because it's sci-fi, so it's thick and it's its own lore, and that's kind of why I want to get into it.
Okay.
This game is coming with a feature that has been featured in other games, but this one expressly mentions it as a way of trying to get you in. It's called Buddy Pass.
Okay.
This game allows one person to purchase the game, and then you will give Buddy Pass tokens to 2 different people, and they will have access to the game for 14 days.
Okay.
It is not...
Okay, so it's not just 3 people playing on one copy of the game online indefinitely.
Yeah, there is a time limit to the time you can play, but the reason I like that idea is the game itself is, by Dan standards, not a real game, because it is $39.99, and by that token, like, I'll spend $40 and then I will give it to 2 people who can guarantee that, like, if I'm going to stream it on a Friday and it says that it can be played if I'm on a PS5, it can be played on an Xbox.
Okay.
And the share play and things like that. The thing that will keep this game and in my interest is the idea that it's kind of doing what the Predator game did. I know, don't tune out yet. What it's doing is every time you drop, there's going
Pay
to be
attention.
a different objective. So each player, there might be a rescue mission.
Okay.
There might be a, hey, go to this computer and extract the data. Hey, kill X amount of these bad guys. Hey, kill X amount of these.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as you play more, it's going to get hodgepodged as to rescue this person, kill X amount of these, and this, making it harder and kind of keeping the grind up, but at the same point, the additions and things like that. Coming out on the 20th everywhere. The other thing and the other reason I kind of really want to support this is it is storytelling from a Tom Clancy game that does not happen much anymore. Ever since the days of the Xbox 360, and I know Ghost Recon Wildlands, all those games, those are great. But this is a boots on the ground multiplayer shooter that is squad based. I'm talking the old Ghost Recons where you had you and your 3 friends and everybody would shoot the rocket launchers to the ground, it would blow up the team and everybody would be mad. It's the best. And I want Tom Clancy's to start getting comfortable knowing that people like me will buy these story related games if you put the time into it without making it like a 1,000-hour slog.
Yeah. So yeah, I will definitely, like, if you've got a token to pass my way, I will definitely jump on stream with you with that.
Perfect.
Like I'll throw $10 your way to help you get it in exchange for a token for those 2 weeks to play it on stream with you.
Well, thank you.
And then maybe get my own copy after that. Depends.
That's the other thing I'm kind of excited for is like I don't mind.
So you get 2 tokens. Is it like that's it? Or like do at some point, like, do they refresh and like you can give them to other people, but
The
those 2 people have
website-
already had their
The website specifically mentioned just 2
Okay.
and didn't mention any other mechanics about those tokens.
Okay.
How to
It's
get them or-
probably well, I'm gonna reach back here. I remember the game Diablo, the original Diablo game in 1996. You could install on your hard drive and play off the disk, whatever. But you could also do what it called a spawn install, which was just the first 2 levels of the game of the dungeon, and just the warrior, and always the butcher quest. Basically, that you could go and you could install the spawn off of the disk, and then when you take the disc back home, someone still got that as like a demo.
Yeah.
So, like, this kind of feels like that. The idea of like let your friends try it out, but they're getting to try the full game for a limited amount of time. It's a limited time demo basically that you're giving, and maybe only getting 2 instances of which to do it. But still, like, you
Yes.
time it right. That's still really good.
Dudicarus in chat. It should be on Game Pass depending on when Ubisoft Connect gets integrated. That is
Yep.
very true. It will be on Game Pass the second is available to. It may be on release. That might be the integration
Yeah.
to Ubisoft. The other reality is like Ubisoft Connect and the Call of Duty Connect launcher. Those aren't technically like a part of PlayStation and things like that, but you can use them on every console, so it may be integrated into the game as is.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to those 2 games. And I really I don't know, there's something about more aliens and more frisbee that's really resonating with me this week. More games as always
I want to
coming
wing
out.
frisbees at aliens.
ET phone, ow.
Before we get into today's huge news, what have you been watching? What have you been playing?
So, obviously Wednesdays, a little busy for me, but every week the episode of the Book of Boba Fett comes out. So I watched that, and once again, they have not dropped the ball. It continues to, in my opinion, be successful. It continues to raise the bar and tell a very interesting story, while at the same point not saying too much
Yeah.
or too little per episode.
Yeah, I always kind of enjoy. There's a friend of mine that like watches it the second it goes live. He has the kind of schedule where he can be up at, I think it's 3 in the morning because it goes live at midnight Pacific, and he's watching it. So I know he's seen it. So I'm always like live messaging him the entire time. And we're talking a couple weeks ago, without saying too much, it's Not just the men, the women, and the children too. um, which is probably a bit of a spoiler, but still, couple weeks ago. But yeah, like it's a lot of fun to like watch. You know, Steph and I are watching it together and messaging our friend. Yeah, Danny Trejo in the most recent episode was absolutely amazing. The Rancor handler.
It appears there was a point where I must have blacked out because I don't.
He has scenes, multiple scenes. Like at first you're like, oh, that's just gonna be like a cameo, whatever. And it's like, no, he has dialogue with Boba and everything.
I have to rewatch the episode then because I missed that just in perpetuity.
Dave accidentally only watched episodes 1 and 2 and didn't even watch episode 3 yet.
Oh, you know what? I didn't finish episode 3. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even get to finish it. Savannah needed attention and things, and then apparently she woke up Claire, and so I was immediately called away to action, to other things.
My friend was like, if I only watch the episodes, if I start with the episodes with him in them, is that machete order? Wait, no, that's taken.
So I've been watching that.
Yep.
And what have you been viewing on?
I'm almost done with the final season of Expanse. I'm sure I'll talk more about it next week. We're doing a Christmas thing this weekend with my in-laws, and I know my father-in-law has watched it, so I got to make sure that I'm, caught up before then. So I'll talk more about it next week. But last night we watched a couple more episodes, and it's like, there's only 2 episodes left. How can they wrap this all up in time? And then obviously we watched Dune this weekend, which was a treat first to have you over, certainly, but it was also like there's so many proper nouns in that movie, like so many names and organizations and stuff that it really did benefit from a second watch as well. So yeah, it was really fun to just watch Dune again.
Just to give you guys an idea, I'm just going to pull up the IMDb, and I'm just going to read the character names of the first ones that come up. Paul Atreides, okay.
Yep, Lady Jessica Atreides.
Duke Leto Atreides.
Yep.
Duncan, Idaho.
Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Gurney Halleck.
Yeah, so like a lot of these,
Stilgar,
Dr. Liet Kynes, and like even like it's the people's names aren't as bad as like then you start to get into the Bene Gesserit.
Shout out Mapes. Yeah, I felt bad, but like on the ride home, I looked at Claire and I was like, I visually will remember all those characters. Their names are gone.
The Sardaukar, the extra military that came in during everything. Just like I'm trying to like remember these, but it's like a lot to try to take in, especially when I first saw it in theaters, no subtitles helping out. I'm just like, oh, this is a lot. They'll just sit in for the ride, and I know that I'll be watching it again. So.
Dune, as a sci-fi film, I would say I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to part 2, and in fact, it made me want to pick up a copy of the book.
Yeah,
it really did.
Yeah. And then all the books thereafter as well.
Yes, but that's for 10 years from now, Dave, to worry about reading the second and third books. Is it going to take you that long
to read the first book?
Probably.
Okay.
God willing, I'll have some time off because my spleen will have ruptured or something, and I'll sit there in a hospital bed and read.
Let's be honest, you're just going to scroll Instagram and update your story from the hospital bed.
La 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 la. Hey,
still here, still sucks.
or just, hey nurse, am I allowed to live stream from here? Like, sir, what are you gonna live stream? I don't know, bedpan. Just gonna take out 2 markers and just
IRL stream in the hospital.
Hey guys, watch this. You've been 20 minutes later into the stream, actually have medical emergency. Woman comes in. Ah, Christ.
When you're a programmer, you do want to hear the phrase, everyone on my floor is coding. When you're a doctor, you don't want to hear the phrase, everyone on my floor is coding. Bedpan new Twitch meta.
Just, hey guys, I have a bedpan, and now I'm gonna hit my friends and family with it as they come into the room. Boing!
Okay. Halfway into the program now.
wait, wait. We didn't do the other half.
Okay.
What have you been playing?
Oh, playing. Nothing really worth noting. For a couple days, I kind of got into Age of Empires 3 again, and I just kind of played a few games and got that back out of my system and safely on the way. Realized they came out with Age of Empires 3 Definitive with like more civilizations and stuff like that, but I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I got it out of my system. I'm good. Played more Mass Effect 2. I'm excited. I'm going to be getting an Xbox Series X, so I'm going to try to finish Mass Effect 2 where I am in HD and then do Mass Effect 3 in 4K. So, Mass Effect Legendary is going well. Yeah, but yeah, nothing new to add and obsess over right now. Horizon Zero Dawn is still going well, and I got a bunch more blind boxes of it to open during streams.
Nice. Nice. Valheim. It's fun. If you like world builder games with a little bit of a Norse creative spin put onto it, definitely check it out. Try it out. I've been very fortunate that I've been guesting on Love Alex Monday streams, and that's the game that we rotated into.
Nice.
And we're playing that. It's a lot of fun, and all of us find ourselves like, because it's a gaming group and this game allows to, we made like a home, and we
Yeah.
have like this little outpost where it's ours and our livestock and the crops now and all these things, and like yesterday we did this thing where we were then hunting
Dave thinks that this
for-
makes him cooler than
to
Minecraft,
get stuff
but
for
still.
armor. And it was fun. Like, it's genuinely fun. Probably going to be streaming it Friday.
Nice.
If I don't buy Extraction by then. But yeah, Valheim, it's in there. It's in my veins, and I really really enjoy it. I enjoy all the little creative tinkering that you can do, like different skills you can level up, all the different crafting options.
Yeah.
Graphically, it looks abysmal, but that's okay.
Minecraft.
Exactly. Friend of mine showed me what Minecraft would look like if they did more effort into the visual graphics, and then Minecraft blew itself up when he did it. Like, it was like turbocharging an engine. It just blew out, and then nobody could be happy about it.
Nice. All right. Shall we get into things?
Yeah, sure.
So, we woke up to some really, really big news this morning. And it kind of came out in bits and pieces throughout the day. Let's preface this. Last week, Dave, do you remember in the long time ago of 7 days ago, we talked about Take-Two Interactive buying Zynga for $12.7 billion, which was at the time the largest purchase made compared to the $7 billion that Microsoft paid for ZeniMax, including Bethesda. Now, I tipped my hand because I referred to 7 days ago as at the time. Today, Microsoft announced that they are planning to purchase Activision Blizzard King for a grand total of $68.7 billion.
In cash.
More than 5 times the amount that Take-Two just spent on Zynga. And so before we get into it too much, and we're going to go into details and our opinions on everything, this is still subject to regulatory oversight. They might be forced to like not buy part of it, or to buy and then spin off X amount of studios. Vicarious Visions might go indie again. I don't know.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
I don't think the less Vicarious Visions go, but I know you and I can. If we looked at the list of studios that Acti Blizzard currently has,
Yeah.
they might zhuzh some off here and there.
Yeah, so it really depends on how much kahunas the U.S. regulatory body has. So they might get it without anything being touched.
I'm just gonna say it right now. Something at some point, at some time, is going to come to a head with that state of California lawsuit and this buyout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether it be a lot of the terms of this buyout, by the way, are behind closed doors for now,
Yep.
as
There's
it
been
isn't official. And
speculation. Well, a couple of weeks ago, a reporter had asked Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, like, give us a statement on Activision. Like, you probably don't like what they're doing. And he was kind of like, I'm not going to badmouth them. They're doing their best. They're trying to turn things around. And, they were looking for a badmouthy quote. And at the time, it's like, the reporter had to ask, and he gave a diplomatic answer, whatever. And now it's like, this was in discussions at the time. He wasn't going to shit talk Activision when a couple weeks later he was going to be like, and it's part of our
he was
family
going to be
now.
and then the other half is he could have. The problem is the checkbook would have had to have been bigger. Like
Fair.
like Activision Blizzard would have been like, well, if we're so effing worthless that you're going to talk shit about us, well, now it's got to be 70. Like,
Yeah. Um, and so there was talk earlier, like, okay, I mean, my big question, my first question was, I mean, we've been saying things that could be done to improve Activision. We've been talking about all the things that could be done.
What else can I help you with?
And you, Bobby, we said what could happen was that you could go. So my question was, what's going to happen to Bobby? What is going to happen to Robert Kotick at Activision?
Babu! The Baboonium!
And early reports were that he would stay in charge of Activision Blizzard as a subsidiary of Xbox. Later on in the day, I want to say early afternoon, it was reported that once the deal goes through, then he will be exiting the company. Which I'd rather just see him go. But if you're going to have, if you're gonna give him an out, then yeah, it's gonna be after he's kind of steered that ship into port and handed over the keys. Then, wow, I mixed up some metaphors. But
No. I know the New York Times reported that it is unconfirmed that the person who gave them this report could not state it for fact because everything is behind closed doors at the moment.
yeah,
But the
was it New York
expectation,
Times or Wall Street Journal?
I got things from New York
Okay,
Times.
okay.
That Bobby Kotick is expected to step down and go into a advisory role after the transition in ownership takes place.
Yeah, because
Um,
even when it was announced that he would still, well, like, even when the speculation was that he would still be at the top of Activision, my supposition was going to be that there would be a direct line from the people under him to the people over him, and he would be a figurehead. But that's not someone that you want as a figurehead, most of all. So taking him out of there and having him be a shadowy advisor position is probably a lot better for public image, if not for actually getting things done.
yeah, it can't look
Boats have
good
keys, yeah, but I was thinking like a pirate ship.
for meetings to have all of these things and have this controversial figure in the room,
Mm-hmm.
publicly controversial figure. Although I did read a little tidbit from the same New York Times article that Microsoft's going to be paying an alleged $95 a share, which was a 45% increase for the shares at the time of the
Okay.
agreement of the sale.
Yeah, well, like I heard that they started talks to do so back in November, which is when the latest really big damning stuff came out against Kotick, and the company in general. I think that's when Microsoft was like, anyone else smell a fire sale?
Um,
Because this time last year, if they wanted to buy Activision, the price would have been so much higher. Because
yes.
because here's the thing, now that the initial impressions are past me and what's going to happen to Bobby and all that. My thing is that is going to be such a huge shake up because in my mind it's pretty much cemented that you have your hardware publishers that also do software. You have your Microsoft, you have Sony, you have Nintendo. And then you have your independent third-party publishers: Activision, EA, Ubisoft, and there are more. Take Two, or 2K.
Yeah.
There's more, but like those are the big three. I don't know as far as market share or money or whatever if Activision or EA is higher, but it's like it's those two, and then Ubisoft. God bless them. They're trying. They're trying for that spot. Well, and I guess after Activision gets bought by Xbox, Ubisoft is number 2 by default. Good going until Sony buys them. Um, yeah, but so just like it's weird to me that one of the biggest, if not the biggest, publisher that isn't owned by um the creator of a console
Yeah.
is just going to end up owned by Xbox.
Mhm.
They're talking about bringing a lot of stuff to Game Pass, how a lot of stuff is going to stay cross-platform. Like they would be shooting themselves in the foot not to keep Call of Duty cross-platform.
Oh, think of you'd be taking billions and turning it into millions.
Yeah, yeah.
Like like, because you know who'd stay cross-platform? Battlefield, and you know what people would do? Go to Battlefield.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, and it's interesting too that like they've kind of tested the waters a bit with the Bethesda purchase and how much is going to stay cross-platform and how much is going to be exclusive or timed exclusive. And we're not yet far enough away from that purchase to really give a postmortem on how that's shaken out.
yeah. Well, they haven't
Because
really released any big titles yet.
yeah,
They have all the things that are contractually obligated of ZeniMax Media and their subsidiaries.
yeah, they haven't really
Um,
announced like new things and then been able to, and then said it's only coming to Xbox, or been able to say here's a brand new thing and it's going to be for everyone.
yeah. I'm looking forward to this.
Until I see an Elder Scrolls 6 box with a PlayStation strip on it.
I'm already calling it. I'm not getting Elder Scrolls 6 on my PS5.
That's, to be fair, I don't think anyone's getting Elder Scrolls 6 ever.
It'll happen. It'll happen, but it'll be an Xbox exclusive at this point.
Are we going
Um,
to check the pulse?
and I'm really as disappointed as I am in that. The other thing that I'm looking that's
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
about this,
I've steered this
with
conversation, my concerns, whatever. What
no,
are
no,
your...
just with the idea is that this process is going to take 12 to 18 months
Yep.
to be approved, to enactuate, to take placards off the walls, move paperwork in, and shift everything around. The union that represents the workers in ActiBliz um, are still saying our objectives haven't changed. Bobby needs to be out, and these changes need to be implemented. Because I did tweet at the various folks and things like that, and I received a DM from some folks that just said, "Hey, we're not changing our platform. We're still not happy with everything that's going on, and
Yeah.
this is just another fresh coat of paint, but it doesn't fix the things that are wrong."
Yeah,
Um,
and I had to check timing on something, because when this comes out, excuse your perception of what news came out on what day. But like, yeah, if they're going to be stuck in a holding pattern and nothing really big changing while the transition is happening, or are they also trying to make those changes? Riot last week announced that they will be giving, like, basically paying people for 3 months to leave if they feel that the new, more inclusive company culture is not for them. Um, for the next 3 months, you will get 25% of your annual salary. You'll get, your whatever the equivalent of like vacation time. You've got whatever. Use that 3 months. Look for another job that is going to be better for you than this culture here.
yeah.
And that is a big promising change that we're seeing out of Riot. Which then again, everything happening with Activision is like, okay, your turn, guys. What else can I do for you? There's some ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot of if they start to implement any of the things that they had put forward, their own words and their own actions, that would be great.
Mhm.
That'd be amazing because this is exactly what people want. And it's exactly what your company needs. And I know we're sitting here at Insane Games. The culture's great here. Don't get me wrong, but
Not as cultured as a loaf of moldy bread.
Exactly. But
which I'm allergic to that mold, by the way.
when you're Fortune 500 companies and you have that many voices of your employees saying these things, come on, bro, pull the earplugs out, take the glasses off when you walk into the office, actually look at your employees in the eyes and see how you can generate yourself some more money, because it's a heyday now for gaming and electronics and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And the companies that choose to try to hermit away money now instead of blowing up into people's homes and getting on Game Pass from Microsoft, getting involved with all these things that are going on, you're missing out. Like, it's
Yeah.
the new console generation still isn't in stores for everyone to access yet, and there's still time to start throwing things on the burner to cook it and have it done by the holiday seasons. Like,
Yeah,
just
and
treat your employees like people, for God's sake.
yeah, and like it's clear that Activision leadership alone isn't going to do it. So the question is, if it takes 12 to 18 months for this buyout to fully complete, how early in that process can Activision flex its muscle? Sorry, can Xbox flex its muscle within Activision? They shared an image of what the leadership structure is going to look like. I didn't look at it really in close, but
Yeah.
it all comes to Phil Spencer up at the top. And it's how soon does that happen?
I
I
look
am
forward.
so sorry about that.
I really look
Pizza Hut
forward
burp.
to Phil
Oh, it's a
Spencer.
Pizza Hut burp straight into the mic. I am so sorry.
I really look forward to Phil Spencer getting a lot of the documentation that is not public. Um, but some of the facts and factoidals of it have been leaked to us, the plebeians, because Phil Spencer's in a big chair, but Phil Spencer's really easily accessible to society, and if those sort of things continue to happen under his watch, not going to be good, and he's not going to be happy.
Oh, true.
Um,
Like so it's it's always a tough thing to try to look at public figures and say, oh, well, they would do this. Oh, well, they wouldn't do that. There was a big article yesterday that was kind of taking Joss Whedon to task, and it's interesting to compare to like 10 years ago, the man could do no wrong. And so, like, to try to make conjecture of what Phil Spencer would allow within Xbox, the massive pavilion of Xbox. Fuck Pavilion. He rented the whole goddamn state park for this family reunion. Um, and it's foolhardy to conjecture, but at the same time, the image is that of something cleaner. That will, care for the employees better. That will have a more inclusive environment. The image is there. I can't truthfully try to comment on what the reality is, but that image is there
mhm.
that it will be better because Bobby's image was and always has been scummy. So it's not surprising that it was never surprising that it happened, but it got surprising the extent to which it happened. I think for Spencer, it would be more surprising if it continued to happen with him knowing about it.
I, again, it can't.
Mhm.
Phil Spencer is incredibly more visible to society and is way more at the whim of gamers and the people that are currently leading these objections to these things, and is well more at the whim of society than a Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, so
Phil
like
Spencer has to sell 1.5 million products in tap dance. Bobby Kotick really did get to hold up a paper and go, "You can talk to our PR people." Like,
yeah, like Bobby runs Activision because he built Activision as it's currently known today as a business, and he runs it as a business, and he's the guy at the top. Whereas Phil Spencer, it gives the image of a ruler who knows that he rules at the whims of those that he rules. Like where you have the king alone in his castle just casting down things as like everyone shall wear tights on Tuesdays with mayonnaise dribbling down the left leg. Bobby Kotick. Whereas, the one who walks the streets and says, yes, I am where I am because you allow me to do so. I don't know what it is with me and imagery today. I am overtired, but
yeah.
but yeah, it's it'll be interesting, I guess. Like, we know that there is going to be some massive cleanup at Activision. If not on their own part, then when Xbox can get in there and really clean house. The big question is, how soon can they bring the mop in?
An article that was posted earlier going along with this mopping up thing was Activision Blizzard has been continually letting people go in the last couple of months and
Yes.
not reporting it, and not
Okay.
being as upfront about it. And now that this has come to light today, the article was shared in Discord, and it made me think like, oh wow, are they really just going to continue to try to fire key people left and right and here and there and try to get everybody back in alignment with the way things were?
Yeah.
But it looks like they may have just been sitting there and like conjecture and speculation, but still like going through and being like, okay, when we get bought out and all these papers release, this person definitely can't be here. This person's position is going to get eliminated anyway. Let's get rid of them now.
Okay.
Like trying to trim the fat, as it were, to increase their asking price and price tag, and being able not to take dings and dints from. Well, you have this whole division we're not going to keep, so get rid of this and that and the other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Be able to have a little more control over that. I could see it. Like a couple days ago, I saw a tweet from someone in the industry that was talking about how they saw a lot of people on LinkedIn leaving their jobs at Blizzard, but then a lot of other people that they knew in the industry being like, I can't wait to start my new job at Blizzard. And so whether the people leaving were people leaving because the environment was bad and they wanted to leave, or if they were being shown the door to try to make the environment better, then you've got new people that are coming in to try to keep the manpower in there. Um, we're seeing a loss of not necessarily talent, but experience, I guess, at some of the studios,
yes.
particularly Blizzard, where a lot of the long runners are going and we're getting new people coming in. And that isn't always a bad thing. Um, Blizzard's properties have been so open that like people know them inside and out who have never ever worked for Blizzard. And so when you have people like that who are enthusiastic about the IPs coming in and wanting to work on it, you really do get a lot of fresh blood. But there is also something to be said for the legacy of experience in the establishment to guide that. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Um, so here's a question for you.
Yeah.
You've said that you are not going to be playing Overwatch until Activision Blizzard does
Yep, I
something
haven't been
big.
playing any Activision Blizzard IPs at all.
Yep.
Call of Duty, Tony Hawk's, Overwatch, none of it.
Does this qualify as something that would make you start playing again? Or
Yes. If
now, would it
if
be now that it's been announced? Would it be once the keys are handed over?
I'm still my watermark is the workers union.
Okay.
Once they say that they are taken care of, heard, or not just being like, yeah, 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 we'll get to that. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my measuring stick, my watermark for when this happens. I have a feeling that they will correlate very, very quickly and very accurately. They will
Yeah.
line up when the two things happen. But the yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from the ActiBliz Workers Union when things are better for them to be able to yeah.
The news of Activision's acquisition by Microsoft is surprising but does not change the goal of the ABK Workers Alliance. We remain committed to fighting for workplace improvements and the rights of our employees, regardless of who's financially in control of the company. There is so this is a thread that I'm reading from a better APK. The strike for Raven QA is in its fifth week, and our striking staff has still not received response from leadership regarding our request to negotiate. Some of the collective demands to improve conditions have still not been met. Whatever the leadership structure of the company, we will continue our push to end abuse in gaming and appreciate the outpouring of support we've experienced in the last year. Yeah, so that's actually a really good way to look at it is what is a better ABK saying? Because I think they are officially a union now.
Yes.
Yep, they are
Yes, that
officially unionized.
that device, that organization is technically not within Activision Blizzard, and many of the people are former Activision Blizzard employees representing people who currently work there, because that's how that shook out. But
Yeah, I guess when they say, "Hey, the new leadership has been great. We've been seeing a lot of really positive change, and we're seeing this, we're seeing this, we're seeing this." Then maybe yeah, we can feel good, and I really like that as a metric.
yeah, I'm sticking to that as much as it hurts. I want to play Overwatch. I do.
I want to play D2 Resurrected.
And
Yeah.
things like that. But again, to sit here and yammer about these things and and try to talk a big game about calling out Activision Blizzard and doing these things, but then to play an Activision Blizzard IP 10 minutes later just doesn't feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel smart or right. It just feels like throwing poo with one hand and smearing it on your face with the other. Like
We are very visual today.
when I go into the fact that what really struck me was the fact that for those of you who are new to this story and didn't hear all of last year's saga, nerdy award winning um, storyline, by the way,
Yeah.
but just the fact that an employee died during a retreat, a company retreat. Okay, that's how bad your culture is in your company, and they swept it under the rug.
Mhm.
People died. You can't do that. All right? It doesn't
Not
make it
okay.
okay. And even if the workers union does okay this, it's not going to make it right, but it will show that something has been learned and people have gained some sort of insight about this and how to not perpetuate these unfair practices and behaviors that literally cause death.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, so for the moment, when a better ABK says, things are getting good, then yeah, then we'll look at it. But until then, this is a promise. It feels like it's being made, but a promise is not action. It hasn't been explicitly spoken, but Xbox buying Activision Blizzard feels like a promise to clean it up. Among other things, to make a whole lot of money with Activision stuff on Game Pass. Hey,
Or-
hey!
yeah.
But like, as far as we're
for-
concerned from that,
For the Microsoft side, the good news is this is going to be a toilet flush for those executives. They get bought out, and they get to walk away from the table and not put up with the stains that they left on the wall. Microsoft, on the other hand, this is a boon for them. They have Call of Duty now. They'll have, and the Call of Duty League. Microsoft logos are going to be all over that shit. Overwatch in the Overwatch League. I bet they're going to stop using HP Omen stuff. I'm willing to bet once that contract goes out, we're going to be playing on the newest Microsoft gaming computers, which, you know what? That might actually help sell some of those better.
Yep.
And then the little thing that people you might forget because when you think Activision Blizzard, you think Call of Duty, I think Overwatch, but World of Warcraft, things like that. But King is also a part of it. Candy Crush, bro, that's going to make them tonnage
oh yeah,
of money.
and
This is-
that's like a decent inroad into mobile. Like we talked about Take-Two buying Zynga to have mobile development ability. And getting King can be kind of big.
Sony. That sound you hear behind you is getting louder, and you should probably just do anything. All right. PlayStation VR 2, not really the thing that's going to help break it. I just like. I don't think Sony should start. Should look at if Microsoft is England and start going like, let's go claim territories too. Like, we're gonna have we're gonna have a late 2030 arms race end where like every game company is either owned by, God bless it, but it's gonna be Disney, Meta, Microsoft or Sony. Like, and
Yeah.
then Nintendo's gonna be over there being like, ooh, no, like.
Question, pure conjecture. I want conjecture with no basis in reality. EA, Do they get bought by somebody, or do they buy a bunch of stuff and come out with their own console? Do they become a hardware publisher so they don't get bought by a hardware publisher?
I think EA, because they have the war chest of Madden and these things. I think they get bought out. If
Okay.
anything,
You think they get bought out?
I don't think that they start to make a console of their own.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, the idea of console just came out of nowhere. I think that'd be kind of funny, but I think 2 plus Nintendo doing their own thing is a good healthy state for the console market. Plus Stadia, and yeah, I think if anyone actually comes out with their own console, it's going to be Disney.
oh, for sure. I mean, God knows they're 4 signed pieces of paper away from buying half of the market. Like, really, the only thing that's stopping Disney from eating everything is antitrust laws. That's it. That's really the
And they're not
difference.
trying real hard to stop them.
No, well, it's because Disney.
And that's the
There's
thing.
historical documentaries
Go
about this. Walt Disney was really smart about going, by the way, hold this up for a second. That's a Disney IP, but you don't know it because there it is over there looking straight at you, but it's wearing Disney ears. Ha 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 ha! Like,
Yeah, like
they're
Touchstone Pictures,
so
whatever.
good
Yeah.
at doing stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, like it's more now. Like we know that Marvel is owned by Disney, Star Wars is owned by Disney, whatever. But like at Touchstone Pictures was very much like yes, Disney owned it, but they didn't talk about it that much. And for the most part, like the news of that kind of thing wasn't spread as much. Like if you didn't notice that article in your paper that Disney made Touchstone, then you just don't know.
yep. Disney does a very good job of buying things on the sly and putting them over here, and or creating shell companies and buying other things. It's not technically legal because it hasn't bitten them in the ass yet. Because trust me, there's a lot of people in Washington that are going, they're gonna mess up eventually, and we're gonna write them for every penny we can get. There's
then
a
there's the
bunch of
people-
highways that need funding, but
I don't want to
Disney-
get into that. The U.S. doesn't have the regulatory balls.
Disney will definitely be snapping up some stuff, and it'll be fun to see how all this stuff shakes out. I'm hoping, beyond hope, that sooner rather than later I'll be in good conscience playing Overwatch and reinstalling Warzone on my hard drive. No, it didn't get uninstalled. Playing Warzone on my hard drive, and doing these things. But again, if we're gonna sit here every week and report on these things and sling mud at them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just
Nope.
ethically.
nope. Like, so really
It's
cool.
it's like when I got rid of my crypto holdings because I realized I was bitching about it every week. I'm like, I can't do this.
Look, nerd glasses, small journalistic integrity, but it's there. You just got to squint really hard to see it.
Magnifying glass, maybe. Blizzard has Diablo Immortal for mobile already. If any, yeah, I think it's possible that some of the smaller studios are going to get spun off as far as antitrust goes. I think that they'll keep Activision, they'll keep Blizzard, they'll keep King. It's not like they're just going to spin off, say, Blizzard and then call it good.
Oh yeah.
Like Blizzard is integral enough apart,
Oh, but the dream of dreams if they did.
right?
Oh my God.
That would be nice.
They won't do that though. They can't. They won't.
But like, yeah, if some of the smaller studios end up being spun off, I can't think of them for the most part because they get like facelessly absorbed. Like we're saying Vicarious Visions, but it's like Blizzard Albany or something now. So these places end up getting absorbed, and maybe like a couple of the Blizzard studios might get spun off. Some of the Activision ones. I think that if anything, that's probably what we're likely to see, because they do get involved in that. I mean, like one grocery store here in New York State bought another one, and they were like, "Yes, but these 5 locations are now too close to some of your other new locations, and they're going to have to be spun off on their own thing." So, it can be done. It's just we'll see how it goes. it's something that we're going to follow. Last year we followed the history and blows against the company when it came to heinous conditions in the workplace. And I hope that this year, when we cover Activision Blizzard, it's going to be here are changes being made. Here's the progress in their buyout from Xbox. And here's updates from a better ABK.
Microsoft, make me the Sony fanboy cry. Do so good with Activision Blizzard that I am forced to buy your next Xbox. Do it. I dare you. You won't. That's right. Calling you out.
Wow.
That's right. Speaking of which, I do have a short little curtail onto
Okay.
the Microsoft Sony battle. Speaking of which,
Okay.
Microsoft has fully put to bed all the factories are no longer making
Oh, that's right.
any Xbox Ones.
This was something I was going to mention. Yeah,
Those are totally done.
Yeah, last week, I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but last week Sony said that they are actually ramping up PS4 production
Yes.
to make up for PS5 shortages.
They're going to be making an estimated million PlayStation 4s in 2022.
Whereas Microsoft went the opposite way. They confirmed that actually they stopped manufacturing the Xbox One at the end of 2020 to take all of that manufacturing capacity and put it towards the Series X and Series S.
Yes.
And it worked. The Series S was the best-selling console for the past holiday season.
They're available right now in your local area.
Mhm.
Go to your big box store. They're sitting in the electronics cabinet.
You're sounding like a sketchy ad. Available right now in your local area. Thanks. I don't need hot local Xbox Series S's.
Oh, but I do. I do so bad.
You know what old story I missed? What's happening with the Coalition for App Fairness these days?
I'll have an update on that next week.
We'll have to look that
Don't
up.
you worry. Don't you worry. We'll look into it because I was waiting. I was waiting to hear the updates on when the next court date comes around, and I was going to kick into boost into that. But for you, more like rigor mortis, for next week, I'll have a full coalition update.
Nice. We do acknowledge, this week we did start early. We started at 7:30. We're going to be ending in a few minutes, just because of how timing has worked out, and we didn't have No Look preceding us this week. The schedule is still being squished around a little bit. I think we'll be back at our normal 8 o'clock next week. So look forward to that. Yeah, and we'll probably have more than just one topic, but who knows what sort of Tuesday morning bombshell is going to drop. This week, Microsoft looked at Take-Two buying Zynga for $12.7 billion, the most that was ever spent on it, and said, ha! Hold my beer. $68.7 billion?
Get the checkbook.
Yeah, hold my beer. Bring me my checkbook. Bring me my red coat.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how these things develop and how it continues along. I do have a couple stories that I will be posting in the Discord down below.
Yep.
PlayStation Now potentially turning into a backwards compatibility service.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, conspiracy baseball. Christopher Judge, the voice of Teal'c from Stargate SG-1, as Boder and I know him, and you'll definitely know him as the most recent voice of Kratos, and a little bit of it's old hat news, but it's still very interesting. And the game Stalker 2 got a delay for the best reason possible.
Ooh.
This and so much more in the Discord down below.
Yep. Check table topics and under Nerd Glasses in the Discord. I want to see that Stalker 2 one. That's exciting. Okay. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. We love being able to do this every single week, hang out with you guys, learn what stories are interesting to you, and then talk about them because they're interesting to us too. And we love hearing what you guys bring us. After Nerd Glasses today, the Citadel will be playing Halo Wars. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go offline. Takes us about 5 minutes to shift everything that way and test the headset. 10 minutes for the countdown, and then I'll be playing Halo Wars on the Citadel.
By the way, on the weekend Wednesday, we will be revisiting a famous crime game this week involving a certain
Really?
vigilante, an absolute heathen to the streets.
Will
Spider-Man.
you have a guest?
Yes, I will. I'm having
Is
Geek
it-
for All's Joe to come in, and he's going to be playing
Yes!
the game while I trod the truth that J. Jonah Jameson taught me so well, that Spider-Man is a murderer and a menace to society. Make sure to tune in tomorrow at 9 o'clock to the Weekend Wednesday for the return of a staple.
Oh my God,
Um,
I can't wait. Those were such fun streams, you and Joe, the entire time.
Spider is
Because it was what? It was Joe playing, and whenever J. Jonas Jameson came up and said anything, you just went into
Shut up,
full-blown-
Joe! J. Jonah Jameson's talking!
Yeah.
We're actually going to be
Those
playing
are like
the PS5.
classics. Those belong in like the halls of Weekend Wednesday good streams.
We're gonna be playing the PS5 Spider-Man Miles Morales. Actually,
Okay.
we're gonna be updating it, but I can never say it enough. Spider is murder. Spider is murder.
So make sure you're here Wednesday for that, in addition to Dream Team and Retro Wednesday, and of course OC5 Remix. Full roster tomorrow. I hope to see you in just a few minutes on the Citadel. But as for now, thank you everyone so much for watching. I've been Boater,
I've been Dave Man.
and we'll see you next week on the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Bye, everybody.